So today I want to take a look at the PS1 Slim that I picked up on eBay a while back for $5-6 or something like that. It's not in the best of shape. It's got scuffs and scratches. I mean, it's a used console, so that's kind of to be expected. The eject mechanism, while it works, it doesn't always latch properly unless I specifically push on here. Maybe that's the intent. Maybe that's how it's supposed to work. But his build is not working, and they didn't really go into details beyond that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug it in real quick just to see if it turns on. If it does, good. We can then hook it up to a screen and see what comes up. So I only have a universal adapter. However, it does adjust between 3 volts and 12 volts, as well as USB charging for smartphones. So that's 5 volts. It does require 7.5 volts, sender positive, so that's all, yep, that's all set. I think this is the right size tip for it. We'll see. Let's see what happens. No power LED. I don't hear anything spinning up. Let me try again. Nope, nothing. Let me try a different size tip just in case. And still no power. So, it's possible it's dead, but one thing that I did notice is that power jack is very, very loose. So it's probably damaged. So we'll have to open up and see. Although I do note that someone has been inside here before. The warranty sticker's removed. Some of these screws are stripped, which is really odd. I mean, these don't look like they're difficult screws to remove. They're just standard Phillips. So I'm not sure why someone struggled necessarily. PH1 should fit. And now the one stripped screw. Okay, good. Never opened one of these before, so not sure what to expect inside. Okay, it's relatively clean. There's a little bit of dirt and stuff, obviously. And it looks like those screws also hold in the RF shield and possibly the CD mechanism. So let's go ahead and... But this ribbon does not want to come out without a fight, and I don't want to fight it. Okay, so it's still a little sticky for this tab here, but it's not sticky enough. I'm wondering if I can use some double-sided tape. I'll set that to the side for now. And now I can remove the shielding and get a better look at everything. So, as small as this console is, the board on here is not that much smaller than the original PlayStation 1. You gotta remember that the original PlayStation 1 had a built-in power supply, whereas this one uses an external power brick. So it makes sense it's going to be smaller. I mean, this is still shrunk down considerably compared to the original, but it's not drastic like going from the PS2 to the PS2 Slim. So what is... Apparently nothing is holding now. Except something. It seems like it's stuck over here. Okay, there we go. Alright, I already see the broken pin there. Looks like the other, it looks like there's just broken solder joints. The AV out as well. I mean, these are just the grounding pins and mounting pins, so it's not that big of a deal, but it does make it a little loose, which over time could loosen the actual data lines for the audio and video. I don't see any other broken solder joints, so the capacitors look like they're okay. I don't see any signs of leakage or anything. Let's see. Oh, we've got this open. Yeah, so you can see the memory card flap here. This one bounces back. This one does not, and I think, well, on top of the fact that the springs are rusted, it's probably not yeah, there's no tension on, so I gotta fix that spring. Looks like it slipped off. There's also a little bit of rust. I'm not sure if it's coming through on camera on the shielding itself. Let's remove the shielding first. So here's the shielding itself, as well as a little LED diffuser. A little bit of rust. It wore off on the shell itself. So I ran out a little bit of disk space. I'm not sure what recorded. I believe I got almost towards the end. I'm going to go ahead and take this and solder these joints here that have broken, and we'll power it on, see if it works. And if it does, great. I'll give it a cleaning, especially the chassis. Try to take care of some of the rust and test some games out. Alright, so I've got everything resoldered. I think I did a decent enough job. Struggled a little bit with the ground pins. They were absorbing heat pretty quickly, and the iron was absorbing some of the solder that was existing on there. Is kind of unusual, so but that's okay. Go ahead and just see if I get a power light or not. And I do. Not sure if it's coming through on camera, but there is a power LED right there. So let me reassemble as much as I need to in order to test it further, hook it up to a screen, and if it's working, I'll clean it up and wrap this video up. So pardon the even jankier than normal janky setup, kind of still rearranging things, cleaning things up, so we're going to go ahead and fire it up and see what happens. And it powers on. I have it hooked up to this really cheap AV to HDMI adapter. I don't recommend it for gaming at all. It introduces lag, but for testing and stuff like this, it's perfect. Let's see if it reads the memory card. I may not have anything on this memory card, mind you, but try a copy of Street Fighter Collection. I'll have to hold the button on the console to see if it'll read the disc, and it does. So I may have a working PS1 Slim. I just have to give it a good cleaning, take care of a little bit of surface rust. But yeah, for $5 and a little bit of soldering, not a bad situation. Trying to be very careful not to get my finger too close to the CD, so you can see how precarious it could be. But it seems to work fine, so you can go ahead and give it a cleaning and we'll wrap this video up. Okay, so this here is the PS1 Slim basically spread out, disassembled. Let's go ahead and reassemble everything. There, now they both flap the way they should. So that's the top half of the shell. Let's go ahead and get, so if you'll see here, I also had to do a little bit of sanding there. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And there we go. You get some new rubber feet put on. I don't have anything that matches the original, but I do have some that'll fit in the holes, so it'll probably sit a little higher, which is probably fine. A little bit more airflow, help it with cooling. Not that these things overheat. And there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and hook this back up, make sure everything still works, and wrap this video up. All right, let's test it, make sure everything works. But before I do that, I wanted to compare the PS1 Slim with the PlayStation Mini. As you can see, it's still larger. In fact, it's roughly two of them side by side this way. So, but it's still impressive how much smaller they were able to get it. So anyway, let's go ahead and test this out. All right, it's working. Yes. I didn't break it. And it seems to be reading games just fine. So, neat little successful project for me. Now, I'm probably not going to do well because it's hooked up through that really junky AV to HDMI adapter, which adds lag, and that's on top of the fact that it's an LCD screen. But we'll see.
You're
Alright, so I didn't do as bad as I thought I was going to. Let's go ahead and shut that off. And I forgot to record the memory card slot reader working. There's all of my previous saves. Not sure what the sparkly ones are, I forget. Upper right is Chrono Trigger, bottom middle is Final Fantasy 3/6. I think the one on the bottom left is Final Fantasy 7 because I think that's Sephiroth. But the rest, I'm not sure what those are. So am I going to use this thing? Probably not, just because of the fact that I've got a PS2, which, if you're not familiar with the PS2, it has full PS1 backwards compatibility through hardware. So there's no emulation or anything like that going on, unlike with the PS3, which I believe even with the initial release was still emulation. So, but it's still going to be a nice little shelf piece. It's a little scuffed up and, worn, but what do you expect? The console is pretty old. So what'd you think of this video? Nothing super exciting, no major repairs, just some minor soldering, but I hope you guys, got something out of it. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to. But again, never any obligation, but I do appreciate it. But if you didn't like today's video, go ahead and hit the thumbs down, but please leave a comment below as to why, so I can try to use that to help the channel going forward. Thanks, Al. I'll catch you later.